Welcome to my views and news. Breaking news is from Kobo. Fano fighters have entered Kobo city. East Amhara Fano fighters are sharing pictures, videos from the city Kobo, North Wollo. Secondly, Getachew Reda doubled down on Tigray's position regarding retreat of its forces from North Wollo. He just a few minutes ago in Tigrinya spoke about the reason of withdrawal of retreat of Tigray forces from North Wollo. What did he say? Before these two news stories, an update for you on the ongoing operation against Al-Shabaab in Somalia. In the previous video, I reported twin car blasts in Beledweyne town, Hiran region, where regional government's headquarter was targeted. There were two blasts and 10 casualties, 9 casualties are being confirmed. Just a few minutes ago, third blast was reported. Third blast was outside a hospital, at the entrance of the main hospital in Beledweyne. A suicide bomber reportedly blew himself up. So Beledweyne, which is the main town in Hirshabelle for operations against Al-Shabaab, is being attacked by Al-Shabaab not far away from Mogadishu. Somalia's forces are laying down their lives for this operation against Al-Shabaab. They are sacrificing. Region should support them, regional government should support them, international community should support them. Farhan Karole, Mogadishu police commander, was killed in Somalia, close to Mogadishu 2 days ago. Ilmi Hagar, a local elder, was killed in an attack by Al-Shabaab 2 days ago. And now in Beledweyne, we are seeing a catastrophic situation. Government officials killed. Hirshabelle's regional state minister, health minister, has been killed in today's car explosions in Hirshabelle, in Beledweyne, and now outside hospital. This new suicide blast is being reported. So number of casualties is expected to rise. Somalia needs the support of its neighbors, its regional partners, international partners in this war against Al-Shabaab. It's a long war, a deadly war. Countries should support Somalia's government. Can Somalia's government continue this operation against Al-Shabaab? Because government officials, security officials are being targeted. In the face of this resistance from Al-Shabaab, can government continue this operation? Hassan Sheikh, in a statement 2 days ago, said that government will not step back. This is war for existence of Somalia, war of survival. So government seems to be committed, but it needs support, financial support, logistical support. And Somalia is still under international sanctions. It cannot purchase weapons. When a country is carrying out such a massive insurgency, counter-insurgency operation, it should have the right to raise army, to arm its soldiers. But it cannot arm its soldiers. So I think that the UN Security Council must review its decision of imposition of sanctions which were imposed several decades ago. Secondly, viewers, Fano fighters have entered Kobo town. They are sharing pictures, videos. We have a clip for you showing Fano fighters In Kobo town, East Amhara Fano, led by Mere Wodajo, was the main Fano faction which fought on this front, Wollo front. Kobo, Kobo Robit, Gobia, they sacrificed as well. They laid down their lives. Ashenafi, Elimo, Fano, commander of East Amhara Fano, was killed on Bilago front. Some other Fano fighters were killed on Bilago front. So they kept on fighting. And now they are in Kobo. Mere Wadajo was also seen. When Tigray forces entered Amhara region last year, back then it was said that Fano was not on front lines, that ENDF was on front lines and Fano was at the back. But here in Wollo, we have seen in recent days that Fano fought at the front. It wasn't at the back in Bilago, in other areas to the west of Kobo or Kobo Robert. So East Amhara Fano, yes, it fought to defend its lands from Tigray forces. Kobo is under the control of East Amhara Fano and government forces. We have a clip for you showing Fano fighters who are in Kobo. Watch this clip. Then what did Getachew say just a few minutes ago in Tigrania about the retreat of Tigray forces from Wollo?
አሁን የምንገኘው ቆቦ ከተማ ሲሆን የምስራቅ አማራ ፋኖ ለመጀመሪያ ጊዜ ወደ ቆቦ ከተማ እየገባ ነው። እንግዲህ እንደምትመለከቱት ገና የመጀመሪያው ዙር እየገባ ነው የሚገኘው የምስራቅ አማራ ፋኖ ወንድሞቻችን ጋር የተገናኘ ነው የሚገኘው ኤው ባስኩስ በግሪ ነው
Lastly, viewers, Getachew Reda doubled down on his previous statement regarding the withdrawal or retreat of Tigray forces from Wollo. He spoke in Tigrania a few minutes ago. What did he say? He said, the redeployment of Tigray forces, withdrawal of Tigray forces from Wollo has nothing to do with fighting capabilities of Ethiopian National Defense Force and Abiy Ahmed and ENDF generals. He named generals as well, ENDF generals. But the decision was taken due to the movement of Eritrean forces, due to some other important fronts. And if people of Wollo are told that Fano and ENDF's fighting capabilities helped them liberated, people of Fano would laugh at such claims. That is what Getachew said. So he seems to be saying that people of Fano are a witness to the alleged fact that TDF withdrew without any pressure. It withdrew voluntarily because it wants to focus on other important fronts. Now, I want to make just one point. When Tigray forces entered Wollo in August, around 40 days ago, to counter this offensive of TDF into Wollo, offensive on northern border was launched from Eritrea. ENDF and Eritrean forces, they entered Tigray towards Shiraro, then towards Shire. So the purpose of the offensive from Eritrea was to stop Tigray forces from advancing into Wollo, to stop TDF's advance into Wollo. Then from afar as well, Eritrean forces afar, they launched attacks to reach Mekelle A2 highway from afar. Purpose was to take control of Tigray territories, and second objective was to force TDF retreat from Wollo. So indirectly, you can say that ENDF and EDF, they have achieved their objective. Yes, they launched counteroffensives in Wollo as well, ENDF Amhara forces, Fano fighters. But their main push was from the north. And the purpose of this main push from the north was to push TDF out of Wollo because it was becoming increasingly difficult for TDF to sustain supplies to its forces in Wollo. So their strategy worked. It's not that Tigray withdrew voluntarily. Tigray was finding it difficult to remain in control of its gains in Wollo because from eastern and from northern directions, new fronts had been opened. So you can say that ENDF and EDF channels, they made a strategic move by opening northern front. Had they not opened northern front, TDF wouldn't have retreated from Wollo. It would have tried to advance towards Vuldia and Dasi. So that opening of fronts from Eritrea and from afar towards Tigray were strategic moves by EDF and ENDF channels. And Tigray obviously was left with no option but to retreat from Wollo. What next? Will ENDF and Amhara forces try to enter Tigray from Wollo, southern front? It's difficult because Koram Alamata road is difficult if you want to move from Alamata to Koram. Grasso mountain there, which is under TDF control. So even if ENDF and Amhara forces, they took control of Alamata, it would be difficult for them to move towards Koram. So advance into Tigray from this front, Kobo, Robit, is difficult. If ENDF, Amhara forces, EDF want to capture Mekelle, their main push would be from east and from north. Yes, they'll keep on fighting here on this front as well, but they might try to move into Tigray from Abergele, but not from Kobo, I think. Let's see what happens. So far, Tigray is trying to cover up its retreat in Wollo. It had to retreat because eastern and northern fronts opened by EDF and ENDF left Tigray with no option but to retreat from Wollo. Thank you for watching.